Hi, this is Joe Rabil from Rabil Stock Research with your Daily 5. I want to highlight a few stocks from different sectors that are standing out in my work. I'm a bottom-up technical analyst and I go through thousands of charts each week. And I'm really on the lookout for stocks that may be ready for an up move. While we can't ignore the overall market, it is important to have strict criteria that needs to be met on a stock-by-stock basis, preferably written down in a trading plan. And when we have that, we can build a watch list of candidates that may be moving independent of the market. So I want to start out and just show a picture here of Ted Williams and his strike zone. He put this together. It was in his book. And I think it is very applicable to the stock market. And I think especially so right now and where we're situated right now. And basically what he's doing here is he figured out what his batting average was based on these different locations. And, obviously what he's trying to avoid is this low outside area. I think we'd also include, this zone down here as well. These are all of these boxes that are circled are all the areas where he would, if he swung at those pitches consistently and hit the ball in play, he would hit less than 300. All the other boxes, he's a 300 hitter or higher. And so, in a general market environment, like a bull market, we want to avoid these areas anyway, no matter what kind of environment we're in. But we're in a bear market, we really want to change the focus. We don't necessarily want to hit anything outside of this gray area. We will actually want to go for just the really killer zone right here in the middle. Home run, fat pitch type play. Patterns, stocks that meet all the criteria that we're looking for. So you want to be more selective in this environment. You also want to reduce your size. I mean, I would recommend, even if you find something that's right here in the middle, just kind of everything that you look for, still because of the environment we're in, you probably want to play with smaller size. Remember, the average stock is going to go down with the market. If the market is going to continue to go down, 3 or 4 stocks are going to go down with it. So your odds are kind of against you. Now, we could be in an environment where the market is going to bottom here. I mean, I think you're better served having this criteria that is very strict and following that, and then being very selective right now, only finding the stocks here in the middle, stocks that really meet the criteria you're looking for, reduce your size, and then also on a trade management basis, be a little bit more aggressive about taking profits. And I think if you have a trade management plan that way, then I think you can take any stock in this environment that meets all your criteria. So I just wanted to start this way because I am going to give long ideas, and we are in a bear market. I mean, I'm not trying to say that this is easy and that you can just buy anything. So I wanted to make that crystal clear. Let's go ahead and get into the Daily 5, though. And again, I like to look at specific criteria. One of the things is, I like stocks that have formed a sideways line. If you notice, look at this pattern in Humana. First of all, there's definitely been some improvement in some healthcare stocks as of late. And so I'm keeping an eye on that. I do like the fact that this relative strength line keeps improving. But notice how this has kept bumping its head up against this level right here. I would say just under 500 for really the past year and a half, almost 2 years now. And I think if we can exceed that level, we have to pay attention to it. Another criteria I like to look for is low ADX, especially when we have it in multiple time frames. So I've got low ADX on the weekly, I've got low ADX on the daily, and I've actually got low ADX on the monthly as well. But I think in the way this is forming, I would be looking at it on a weekly and a daily pattern. If we get some price action that breaks through, pretty definitively, this is a stock that I would definitely be looking to try and play. Now, a safer way to do it is to let it break out, make it come back and test the breakout area, and then turn up from there. But definitely a stock I'd be on the lookout for just based on all the criteria that I've got here. Now, the solar stocks have been holding up pretty well. When I go through and look at thousands of charts each week, There just aren't very few that meet all of the criteria that I look for, like something like this JKS, Jinkosolar. So I've got the long-term pattern on a monthly chart with a very, very strong ADX condition. Look at the power in that move to the upside. And during this whole phase of going sideways, the ADX has remained well above the 25 level. Now, on a weekly chart, we also have a low ADX. So we have strong ADX on the monthly time frame, and then we have this low ADX pattern on the weekly. And notice what's taken place. We've had this ascending triangle that's been in place. I can draw this in and say, okay, we've been kind of working sideways. It's actually not a great line, but if you go here, we've gone sideways for a while with an ascending triangle, and it looks like we're trying to break out of this now. Again, out of a low ADX condition that's been in place for over a year now. So I find that to be pretty interesting. Definitely a stock that I would be watching here. It's a very, very volatile stock. Makes big moves on a weekly basis. So this is one you'd have to reduce your size anyway, but you probably want to play it even smaller based on the environment we're in. Now, I did notice some improvement in some of the Chinese stocks, and especially this LI auto list, the LI symbol, LI. If this breaks this has just broken the downtrend line. So I want to put this in. We broke this downtrend line. Look at the force of this move. We can really see it when we look at the ADX pattern. That's showing the strength to the upside, uninterrupted move to the upside. And I find that to be pretty attractive. But when we have ADX that's strong like this, we want to buy a pullback. So I'm looking for a pullback back towards the 34, 35 zone. And if it comes in on a fairly orderly basis, and preferably something where it comes down and then turns up, I want to see a hook take place. I don't just want to buy it as it's coming straight down. Don't just buy it on the way down. Make it turn to the upside. So in this environment, we're looking for that stock right in the middle of the strike zone, perfect pitch. But we're also looking for it to set up, because it hasn't set up yet. First is the pullback. If this pulls back, then it's set up. Then we want it to trigger. And if it turns up and kind of exceeds this area and turns back to the upside, that would be what I would consider to be a trigger to the upside. That's kind of meeting all the criteria that I'd be looking for. So definitely a stock to keep an eye on, but we do want to see it set up, and then we want to see it trigger. Sierra Wireless. So obviously the telecom has been beaten up pretty badly. This is pretty impressive what this stock has been doing, how well this is holding up. Nice base has formed. We've got a moving average environment that's improving pretty dramatically, an ADX and momentum condition that's improving on the weekly chart. And this stock has already pulled back and tested the breakout area and is turning back. So we had the breakout, we've come back and tested, and now we're turning back up. Pretty attractive pattern. Just remember, in this environment, you do want to play with reduced size, but you also, because this is a stock that I would probably want to give room off the weekly chart. I wouldn't necessarily play it off a daily. I'd probably play it off the weekly based on what it looks like on a monthly and a weekly basis. So you probably want to give it a little bit more room from that standpoint. Now, the last stock I want to talk about is a little bit more on the aggressive side. It's more of a trading play. It is in the communication services, but I would probably put this more in the tech land. It has gone full cycle, where it made a big move to the upside and came all the way back down to the original kind of breakout area. So that's one thing we've got. The other thing we've got is when we came down and rallied up and then made a new low here, we showed signs of momentum divergence based on the MACD. And we've seen the result of that. We've gotten a pretty good rally. But what it also did, it didn't just rally, it actually it exceeded the 18-week line. There's not a lot of stocks in tech land that have done that on this type of pattern where they got beaten up, rallied up, and pulled back. Something like Vive did something similar to this, but this has made a nice move up. Now, what I'm really focused on here is the daily chart. We've broken the downtrend line out of a low ADX condition, and we have an improving ADX situation based on the buyers. ADX has crossed above 25. So my rule of thumb, when I see a break of the trend line after a low ADX pattern, I'm looking for the first kind of dip back down towards the support zone in the 18 MA. If we get any kind of a little weakness here and then a hook to the upside, I'd definitely be willing to play this for a trade, probably be looking to take profits here as well as here. I'd actually be out. If it got to move up towards that, I would definitely be out of the whole thing, but I might consider, starting the position here, taking some partial profits here, and then being out if it reaches that level. So you want to make sure you have the risk parameters in place so that it makes sense, so the trade makes sense. But I do like the pattern. It did stand out when I looked at a bunch of tech stocks. I like this improving momentum condition after a low ADX sideways move. So anyway, that's another stock that I think to keep an eye on. So that's the end of this segment. I hope you enjoyed it. You can contact me through LinkedIn or find my research on rabilstockresearch.com. In addition, if you'd like to learn more about trend, MACD, and ADX in multiple time frames, I have a YouTube channel and a book called Invest Like a Pro, which delves into this subject. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're going to bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.